baking some applesauce bars. This is a recipe book on bar cookies that I've had from the 90s during my early childhood years, and I have such fond memories baking a particular cookie bar. They're called zebra bars with my mom and my sisters. We made them all the time. I just remember flipping through these pages so much. This book is well and worn and has like water stains and really old bookmarks attached. I don't think we've really made any of these other cookie bars except for the zebra bars that I mentioned. So in honor of my childhood and of this book, I am going to attempt to bake all of these recipes starting in alphabetical order. So it's an A to Z book. I'm gonna try to make every single one of them. So today's is gonna be A for applesauce bars. And I already laid out the ingredients here. Let's see, it makes 24 bars. It bakes in the oven for just 30 to 35 minutes. It comes with a pecan praline topping. That sounds really tempting and delicious. I am not the best baker, but as I've been baking bread a lot during this quarantine and trying to perfect it, I definitely want to improve more on my baking skills. So I'm hoping that maybe going through this book would make me feel more confident and comfortable with baking. Let's get started. So for the batter, it calls for a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter softened, a 1/2 cup of packed light brown sugar, 1 large egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 cup of chunky unsweetened applesauce, 1½ cups of unbleached all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, a 4 teaspoon of ground cloves, a 4 teaspoon of salt, 1½ cups chopped, peeled, cored golden delicious apples, and 1/2 cup of chopped pecans. The topping, pecan praline topping, includes 2/3 cup of packed light brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter softened, 1 tablespoon of unbleached all-purpose flour, and 1 cup of chopped pecans. The first step is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Lightly butter a 13 by 9 inch baking pan. So I already set the oven to 350 degrees. So I didn't realize that my baking pan was currently being used from some leftover enchiladas that I made. So I found it in the fridge. I took the enchilada out, but I need to let that pan soak for a while because I don't want any hint of enchilada sauce into my little applesauce bars. So while we're waiting and letting that soak, I am just starting to peel some apples. It needs to be chopped, peeled, and cored. So I've got my chopped apples here. My pan is all washed and now it's time to butter this. Ooh, it's softened up a lot, so there's a lot of butter on there, but I'll spread it out. The second step is to make the batter. In a large bowl, beat together the butter and brown sugar with an electric mixer until light and fluffy. I'm gonna use my stand mixer, so it calls for 1/2 stick of butter. I'm gonna dump that into here. The brown sugar, which I already measured out, I'm also gonna dump that in there to beat it until light and fluffy. So instead of this, I'm gonna use the whisk attachment. I don't know, guys. I don't know if it's supposed to look more fluffy than this. Maybe I should do a little bit longer. See, this is why I'm not a good baker. What I'm gonna do first is scrape the sides. Maybe it'll catch more of the mixture so that it becomes more light and fluffy. We'll see how that goes. In all honesty, it doesn't look very much different from when I first looked at it. So I think I'm just gonna stop from here because I don't really see it improving much more. But hopefully this is the right consistency. I don't know. Okay, let's just move on to the next step. Add the egg and vanilla. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I always love the smell of real vanilla. I'm not into vanilla scented products like candles or lotions. I just find it too overpowering and sweet, but smelling this baby is really good. I'm gonna scrape the sides again. I'm gonna add in my applesauce. That looks
pretty well blended.
Okay, now it wants to stir the dry ingredients into the butter mixture just until blended. I am going to grab a medium-sized bowl, add in the flour. It says to sift it, but who has that time? 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda, cloves. Smells good. Reminds me of the holidays. And salt. I'm gonna whisk that together.
Just gonna do a little at a time. Scrape the sides again, make sure everything is well mixed. Now it says fold in the apples and the pecans. Got my apples here and I'm just going to dump that into the mix. Don't need this attachment anymore. So let's just fold that. So let's add in the pecans there. Spread the batter in the prepared pan.
Time to pour this in, or more like scoop. Really thick consistency. Look at that. The batter is now into the pan. I have to make the topping for this, the pecan praline topping. So to make that, it says in a bowl, combine the brown sugar, butter, and flour and blend with a fork. 2/3 cup of packed light brown sugar. That looks about right. So I'm gonna dump that. 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And 1 tablespoon of AP flour. I really like this flour brand. It's King Arthur flour. It's unbleached and it tells you the protein content. So this says 11.7%. Apparently the higher the protein, the better it is for bread making, helps with the rise of your dough. Anyway, we're just gonna use 1 tablespoon. It says to blend it with a fork. Now it says stir in pecans until blended. So it requires a cup of pecans. There we go. Now I have some chopped pecans. That only took a few seconds. Okay, in it goes. Crumble the mixture evenly over the top of the batter. Here's what it looks like. In you go, my precious. Okay, have fun in there. Started at 31 minutes. Let's see if this looks ready. When I looked at it, it didn't look like the edges were starting to come off to the side of the pan. I baked it for another 7 minutes. Oh, it looks like it's starting to. Right there. Okay, I think I'm gonna take it out. All right, now that it's cooled down, it's time to cut into these bars. It says to make 24 bars. I'm gonna have to cut it like this example in the recipe book. So this says 24 bars and I used a 13 by 9 inch pan, so 6 by 4. Looks pretty good. Looks more like a cake more so than a cookie. It smells really yummy. So the test is whether or not Logan is going to like it. I made a spreadsheet for these A to Z bar cookies and we're going to rate each cookie bar that I make. Here will be my list of all the bars I'm going to make, and then we're doing up to 10 points for taste, up to 5 points on texture, and up to 5 points on appearance or presentation. I have my judge, my very handsome husband, Logan Allec, representing his business right now, but he is going to be our little taste tester for these.
And also with the grading here, the points, our baseline is basically like a granola bar. So like your typical Nature Valley, Oats and Honey, those kind of granola bars, that would be like a 5 for taste, like a 2.5 for texture, 2.5 for appearance, okay? So that's kind of the baseline we're going off of. So with this bar here, what is this one called? The
Applesauce bars.
Applesauce bars. We're gonna start with the presentation, obviously, before I destroy it. Honestly, the presentation to me, I mean, it looks delicious. It doesn't really strike me. It's not all like crummy at the top or anything like that. When you get close to it, you can kind of see some texture there. But honestly, it kind of just looks, you know, somewhat average in presentation to me. So I'll probably give it about a 3, right? It could be delicious, but you know, kind of on par with your typical granola bar. All right, now I'm gonna bite into it and let you know what I think. Mm-hmm.
Tell us more.
Wow. Like right when you bite into it, you get this burst of like sweet cinnamon spice, you know, like Christmas, Thanksgiving spice goodness. Taste, I don't have anything else to compare it to other than granola bars, but it knocks granola bars out of the park. Gee, I'd probably give it a 9.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this. Yeah, you bite into it, it's soft and moist, and then at the end there, when you're kind of finished with your bite, you kind of get that crunch from the nuts. Texture's solid too. Probably 7.58 for, let's say 8 for texture.
Texture is up to 5 points.
Oh, okay, so let's do 4 for texture. Probably more refined with my rating as I test more bars, but this one's pretty solid.
I have a question for you. So they're called bar cookies. Now, would you say this reminds you of any cookie? Or does it even have the texture of a cookie? Because when I was cutting into it, it almost felt more like cake.
I wouldn't think I have a cookie in my mouth. It's definitely soft, moist. It's good, it's really good. You gotta try it.
Okay.
So total score was 16 out of 20. 9 for taste, 4 for texture, 3 for presentation. It's a solid bar. By the way, in the background you can hear our son Hunter just being ridiculous. He's not taking a nap, just kind of playing in his crib. Playing with his Pooh Bear, probably. Or his ice pack bunny. Anyway, the bar's delicious. What do you think?
I like that it's not too sweet.
Yeah, it's not terribly sweet. I mean, it's definitely sweet. You get that rush at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. From that pecan praline topping, cookie or I guess bread. The bar in and of itself is really light. It's moist. Definitely reminds me of the holidays, so I'm happy about that.
Now, are we gonna eat all this?
No, we're gonna give some away.
All right. Thanks, Caroline. And what does Hunter think? Do you like it? Is it yummy? I thought you would have more of a reaction, given that you don't often eat sweet treats. Okay, we'll take that as I like it.
No.
That's Daddy and Hunter, yeah. There's Mommy over there. It's delicious, huh? I think you're addicted, dude. I think you're addicted, my man. Now you just want to steal Daddy's glasses? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you.
Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time when I do my next recipe from the A to Z bar cookies. Bye!